Joining. Just get set up here. All right. Today we're going to do some bodhichitta practice. First, I want to point out when we are using bodhichitta in normal life, regular life, to prove to you that we're doing it all the time, and that it's very easy to access, and it's very easy to grow familiar with it once we recognize it. So first we're going to do some relaxing, and then we're going to tune in to our natural bodhicitta. So first, take a steady posture, and we'll begin relaxing. As always, with each out breath, let go of the body a little bit more. I like to start with the legs and the feet. I usually regard the legs as a whole unit, so I'll relax the whole legs and then move up to my tailbone right away. But some people like to start with toes and feet and ankles. If that's the way you like to do it, go ahead. And I apologize if I move a little too quickly. So, relaxing the legs and to the hip flexors in the lower back and the tailbone, growing area, that whole mess of the hips. Breathe out and start letting that go. Start letting your spine balance your head all on its own. The only thing really keeping you up is your in-breath, or remnants of that in-breath in the body. Moving up, still in the lower back, in the navel area. Letting go of that causes me to lean back just a little bit, which is good. Straighten the spine for me. Letting my skull counterbalance that lean. Move up to the solar plexus. Middle back. Find yourself leaning backwards just a tiny bit more. The head coming up just a little bit more to counterbalance. And that's really what this relaxation is about. Learning to balance your spine and your head. Learning to let the body keep itself up with almost no involvement on your part. Very, very little. Upper solar plexus, lower heart area. Still in middle back. Breathe out. Into the floor. Becoming more stable. Move up to the heart space. I want to do something a little different in the heart space. We're going to do 3 long ah syllables. Which reminds me to sit up a little straighter. Let the heart become the new focal point of balance, along with your skull. So your head and your heart, you're keeping aloft at the same time. Let everything else figure out how to balance it without falling down. But right away, your awareness snaps to your heart space. It's kind of like a Superman pose. You want that heart out and balanced in the same space or plane as your head and ears, eyes, that sort of stuff. You want your awareness on the same level. I'm going to do 3 long ah syllables. Going to do one more. Allow it to feel good. Allow it to energize you a little bit. And draw it out as long as you can. You may notice that your body is already more relaxed than when you sat down, more relaxed than when we got to the heart space. It might be a bit easier to move up to the shoulders, the arms, and the neck. Let your head tilt forward a little bit. But let's not surpass our heart today. We want to keep those in the same space, in the same vertical plane, allowing the rest of the body to prop it up. Just our breath is holding our heart and our head. As one point of awareness. One thing, just relax into it. Letting it feel good, letting it feel warm. Allow yourself to smile a little bit. Allow that smile to help the rest of your face relax. Let your eyes and your brow relax. And let your head, the balancing of your head, determine whether your body tilts forward or backwards, or stays in just the right position to not think about it anymore. And now we'll move forward to bodhicitta. So I want you to consider your closest relationships, your dearest relationships, whether it be family members or best friends or children, your closest relationships. And let's think about what motivates, what happens in these relationships, our interactions with these people. For example, if you have children, or if you take care of someone's children, if it's their birthday and they request a specific meal. Of course, you will get it for them or prepare it for them. If you have a parent or grandparent that is sick and in need of medicine and they can't leave the house, of course, you will go to the pharmacy and get their medicine for them, and maybe some flowers, maybe a card, maybe some chocolates, depending on their type of sick. If your best friend calls you and tells you that their flight has been delayed and that they need to be picked up from the airport, of course you go. And feel into why this is true. Why do you do these things without question? And the answer is very simple. It's because you love these people. And they either need your help or your actions will make them feel better, feel happier, maybe literally better if they're sick. You can take this a little further. If you've ever been to the grocery store or supermarket and a stranger asks you to reach something on a shelf that they cannot get to, of course you get it. You don't hesitate. You grab the thing, you hand it to them, and maybe you enjoy doing it. You're happy to have done so. That willingness, that motivation to take action solely for the benefit of others, with no consideration for yourself, no conditions, no expectations. These are examples, just in my life and probably in your life in some way, of when we are acting upon our own bodhicitta. We are almost compelled with a complete lack of struggle to do something to make someone else's life better. Find that feeling, that motivation. Notice that it takes no effort. There's no struggle. You just do these things seemingly automatically. When do you consider not getting that thing on the shelf for the stranger at the store? Never. You're always going to do it because it's so easy and it feels good to do so. The same for your closest family members and your friends, your children. When you know what action will make them happy, you just do it. Selfless willingness. Find that feeling of loving motivation and just sit with it. Notice the sensations in the body. And notice when you feel it in your heart that it begins to feel good. Why don't you do everything from this context? Every action could feel as good as picking up your best friend from the airport, buying flowers for your spouse, hugging them when they've had a hard day at work, We're not looking for details necessarily. The details just help tell the story. What we want is that energy itself, the motivation itself, that loving willingness. That is our bodhicitta. Let that feeling spread around the body on its own. Notice the more that you recognize it, the more that you recognize that you've been doing it all your life in some way or another. How familiar that feeling is. There's a reason they call action that comes from bodhicitta spontaneous. It's not that it must be unpredictable or anything like that. It is spontaneous in the sense that there is no self to cause struggle, to give obstacles. It is spontaneous in that these things seemingly happen automatically. You almost have no choice. Of course, you're going to prepare your child's favorite meal for their birthday. Of course, you're going to get the thing on the shelf. Of course, you will get your family's medicine. And some of these are sort of dramatic examples, but you can find in your own life where these feelings and these actions recur. An even better feeling is noticing when people are doing it for you, when they have not considered themselves at all, but have performed loving action on your behalf. It's that same energy, and it feels just as good to recognize it in others. Now that I think we have a handle on it, we're going to chant A Ba Hu Mani Peme Hung Ri. I'm going to do it for half of my mala, about 50 repetitions. I will keep a tempo for us. And let's begin. A few comments first. For every repetition of this mantra, we want to allow our bodhicitta to grow. We want these feelings of loving willingness to grow on its own, because it will. The longer that you just pay attention to it, this feeling grows on its own because it feels good. And it should feel good. So with every repetition, let the sensations become a little more intense. And I also want you to include more and more people in your consideration. Eventually, we want this past best friends and family members and innocent strangers. We want bodhicitta to apply on our behalf to all beings. And that's not always easy to swallow before the mantras, so we do our mantras, we allow the bodhicitta to grow, and we allow the pool of people for which it applies to grow as well, eventually encompassing all sentient beings. I will help make that feel a little more real towards the end. Abahu mani peme hung ri. 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 Take a minute or so to let the sensations from your chanting soak into your body. I feel some buzzing or some tickling, some vague moving around of sensations. Just let everything come to rest again. And enjoy that bodhichitta. Notice now that it's quite a bit easier to include more people in this loving willingness. Allow more people to receive this energy from you with no struggle on your part. It feels good to make people's lives better, to do nice things, to bring a little joy to any situation, any relationship, any encounter. That's why we include all beings in our practice. There should not be a separation between doing mantras for the sake of all beings or performing any mundane action for someone else. The energy, the motivation is the same and includes everyone automatically when the self has taken a back seat. And again, we will do some long chanting, maybe 5 or 6. But now we will include all sentient beings. We will relax our self-imposed conditions and expectations. We will not decide who deserves this energy from us, who deserves our actions. We do it. In a way, we can do it selfishly because it feels good to make other people happier. But ignoring that, we do it because it's spontaneous. And that is what Buddha nature demands. So, long ahs for all beings, without exception, without conditions. Breathe deeply, and we're chanting from the heart. Let this become real for you. Your chanting, your ahs now, is literally of benefit to all beings in all directions. tend to get a bit jittery after doing mantra sessions like this. That's no problem. I just let the awareness of this jitteriness move to the heart, disperse in all directions. A final note before closing our session today is that your time on the cushion, again, should not be separate from the rest of your life. You feel that you have more energy, more motivation to do joyful things for the benefit of others. Don't resist this motivation. Don't let the person who sits on the cushion practicing their Buddhist meditations, don't allow that to be a different person that interacts with the world. These are the same person, same being doing these things. And with that, I will close. Thank you for watching. I'll hang around a bit for any comments or questions. Everyone, have a great day.